Thank you very much, Shannon. Good day, everyone. Hope you're fine. You're doing well today. So we're going to start our session. As you mentioned, my name is Anna Gill, and we cover some part of the AI fundamentals, what you're going to cover within the whole session. And basically the modules that we use and the workloads that we have within the artificial intelligence is working with machine learning. With machine learning, we can build our solutions based on models. We can create our pipelines and train based on the needs. For example, we need to classify text, classify objects, the data that we are getting from different other sources. Or we need to detect, we want to detect some specific characteristics, we want to detect some objects, or provide by categories. So there are different models that we can cover. And if you go for the full session, we are going to cover the 3 models to, within the full class. And also we have some labs that we can follow in order to get familiarized with machine learning. For example, for now, we have a quick introduction. I already have my Azure environment. I already created a resource group to have prepared some of the services that you are going to cover within the session. For example, in this moment, I'm mentioning one of the workloads we have within artificial intelligence, which is machine learning. I'm going to access. So this is part of my subscription. We need to have an active subscription in order to work, but specifically machine learning has a studio where we are going to work with all the models, the data sets, the pipelines that we want to build for our whole solution. Also, I already have some steps that are run to show you the big picture of what you are going to build later, or what you can create within this specific service, the Azure Machine Learning, and specifically here in the Machine Learning Studio. So we are going to cover part of the compute, where all these models are going to run, and of course, the data set, which data we need to train. This is something important we always need to keep in mind. We train our data and prepare it, and after that, then we can run our models. So actually, we need 2 subsets of data. First, to prepare, to work and create the models, later to train. And finally, well, the final data will be what we have in our production, the new telemetry or data that we are collecting from our solutions. For example, well, actually, let me show you first this one, the automated machine learning, where we can create our whole model and then create the runs, start training our solutions. For example, I'll show you this one I already prepared, where we can decide the different algorithms that we want to use. As mentioned before, there are different ways to create a model. We want to classify, we want to recognize, we want to create categories. So based on that also, we create and use the algorithm that is going to use to give us that output, to give us that new category, that new recognition for our solutions. So I go back here. Actually, also machine learning includes the designer. So graphically, we can build our whole solution. If necessary, we have some examples that can be used as a starting point for our own models. Like here we have a regression. Well, here is also regression, a binary classification, a wide and width and deep based recommendation. So based on this input, when we work with machine learning is from something we already have, something already exists, then we want to have an outcome. We want to know what is that outcome, that prediction, that classification that we create. And all this included with the assets. Of course, now I'll show you as a big picture, this part of the workloads we have. Example, the data set. What is all the data that you're going to use to prepare and to train your models, can create experiments, and then the full pipeline. And the full pipeline I don't have in this moment, but the full pipeline will allow us to create all the process for the inputs, the analysis, what are the models we want to run over there, and finally, the outcome, that prediction that can be exposed. Actually, when we create our models, we expose it, for example, to an app service, an Azure function. So it's also part of what is going to be covered. This is one of the workloads. We need to create something from zero, something new. Machine learning can help us based on our data, based on previous recorded telemetry, mainly telemetry or inputs from other databases. But other workloads we might have, and in Azure is covered with artificial intelligence, can be, for example, anomaly detection. Something it's not normal, it's not working as expected or as usually works, and we want to detect that. Something simple, and normally we refer to the security. We want to make sure the security for our access, for the consumption of the devices is still working, still referring to good solution. So in that case, we want to detect who is accessing, from where, when. But also can be other part of options for anomaly. For example, you are connected to your devices and you want to see the normal performance. You want to see the usage for your applications and also detect if there is something different based on that. So not necessarily security, also for the usage, for the performance that we have for our solutions. Other type of workloads could be the computer vision. Computer vision, as the name indicates, working with objects, with images, can be videos, can be alive with the camera, but it's working with images, detect different features like the scenario, like the colors, position of the objects or the different objects, or even people, the face recognition. Beside the vision, natural language process. Natural language processing is referred to understand our natural language. Understand as normally somebody would speak. To have the natural requirement. For example, maybe you have a system where you provide your frequently asked questions. So the user can ask, when is the opening hour? What is the schedule? When are you going to open? Different ways to ask the same question, but we want to interpret that all these questions refer to the same thing. Or it's not a frequently asked question system, but it's also to process something else. You have a retail solution, you want to process the option to buy something, and same thing with natural language, they can go and buy, I want to buy this product, I would like to get 2 of these products. So also natural language to identify at the end is the same intention. And for that, there is other service called LUIS. And conversational AI. Conversational AI refers to that interaction we have with the end user, basically a bot. Also is part of what is covered in the whole session for the AI fundamentals. We are going to work with normally a chat, there are different channels where we can integrate to communicate to the user and then integrate the previous workloads mentioned before to get an answer, to get a direct communication with the end user. Here is where it comes, this natural language processing. Probably they want to recognize the faces, upload the image, and also integrates with the computer vision to recognize face. Also, they want to detect some differences or some anomalies within a text, within a video, so we can integrate with anomaly detection. Something completely different, we want to know, our employees want to know what will be the outcome, what will be the revenue we'll have for the next month. So it can be based on a model. In this case, we want to predict something based on previous data. So all this can be integrated with our conversational AI. These are the different workloads that we have with AI, the common, actually, here is very important. These are the common. There are some other services, for example, to search, to work with speech, not just the natural language written, but also with speech, to work with forms, content moderator, to make sure we don't have some adult or racist content within images, videos, or text. So these are some other workloads we have with AI. These are the common and also the ones we cover within our whole session for the AI fundamentals. When we're working with the Azure artificial intelligence, there are services that are going to give us the solution. And if we don't find it, then we can go for the machine learning and build our own model. All this is part of the artificial intelligence. So Azure, it includes this machine learning that is running behind these services, or specifically the machine learning, to give us the AI. So we don't need to be experts to use, example, the computer vision, the anomaly detector, but we can also use our expertise. If you are expert with AI, you can also use the expertise to build your own robust solution. So it can be for both parts, something simple, something out of the box, or we build from zero. We create our whole model. If we are experts, we create a whole model. And all this is based on the neural networks that allows the machine learning, the ML, to train our tasks based on the new objects, the new text that we want to specify. Something very important, and you're going to see with more detail later, is the principles for a responsible AI. We must be able to detect or to make sure that we are fair. So we have fairness for all the users that are going to work within our solution. Should treat all the users same, with not having someone favorite or denying the access, or providing a result, an unfair result for different users. For example, probably you want to predict what will be the loan for a customer. So we want to make sure it is a fair solution. Everybody will have a fair amount for the loan based, of course, on our business rules, but it shouldn't include some other features that are not part of the business. Example, the sex, woman or man, shouldn't be part of that resolution. There are some other rules that, of course, they are going to apply, like the income they have, the expenses they have, but it's part of the system. Also, should be reliable and safe. Of course, if we are using our AI, we are integrating with our systems, we must be sure that the user feels safe, that the response we are giving is the actual result, that there is no big risk giving that solution, or somebody else is going to access to their personal information or sensitive information. So also safe and comes together with the privacy and the security we require for our solution. Make sure that only who has the access will access to that specific information. For example, we need new data to make a prediction or take an action that may be subject to privacy or security concerns. So also we make sure that after we create that prediction or we took that action, only the specific roles are going to have the accessibility to read the result or to create a report. Inclusiveness, part of what I mentioned, besides being fairness, also, everybody should be able to access, to use our solutions, based, of course, on the target users we have, but shouldn't, shouldn't have any discrimination over the gender, the ethnicity, physical ability, and actually here it comes with physical ability, the type of services we have available. We saw there is natural language, and natural language will help us to understand the natural language of the user, of course, but also if you're working with users from different countries, they speak different languages. Here is where it comes other services such as first, detect the language, and later translate that language. So these are some of the services that we can use to include our or have our inclusiveness. Other example, which maybe the hearing or the sight, there is the speech to text, text to speech. So instead of just sending the output in a text, we can create a speech so everybody, if they need, they can hear that output. They can interact with our systems. Transparency, always make sure the end user understands and knows what is the purpose of the system. As any other system, even we integrate AI, we still have our target, our objective of what we want to provide within this solution, and the user is aware. Also, they are aware, for example, if you are using a bot, that they are talking to a bot, that there is not a human, it's a virtual agent who is giving those responses, and even providing the accessibility to redirect to a person, so they will have that access. And accountability. The people should be accountable for AI systems, designers and developers for the AI. These principles are part of what we are going to find within our solutions. Always when we integrate AI, when we add our Azure services, will be something that we consider. Actually, you can have here the link, microsoft.com/AI/responsible AI, something that we should always consider. What else is part of this session? The AI fundamentals, cognitive services. Cognitive service is a service provided by Azure that already includes different APIs to provide solutions from different workloads. We saw one of the workloads is with the vision, other is with the language. We didn't see the list, but also other with speech. So it's including these APIs to give us solutions already built, already created by Azure. So we can just go and consume, as mentioned before, we don't need to have much expertise over AI. But still, if we want something different, we can go for our machine learning, build our own models. So we have some of them: vision, language, speech, search, decision. These are some of the cognitive services, not all of them. And within the vision, for example, there is computer vision. Computer vision allows us to work with, as mentioned, images, videos, to detect objects, detect the colors, recognize the whole environment, give a whole description. If you don't find the objects you need, as mentioned, this is already trained by Azure, it's already offered in this solution, but it has a limited number of objects that it's recognizing. For example, probably I add a computer, so it's going to recognize this is a computer, a car. These are common objects that it's recognizing. But if in your organization you have specific products, specific images, we can create our customization. We can add and train based on our own images. Besides that, also the face recognition and giving us features such as the age, the emotion, if they are wearing some accessories like hat, helmet, sunglasses, etc. Part also of the vision is the form recognizer and the ink recognizer. They are still in preview. We can use them, but not suitable for production. So you are working with forms and you want to extract the text from those forms, or with the ink. So you want to extract this text, so we can provide and train based on the forms, the design that we are using, or even for video, to go to a specific point in the timeline. For example, so I don't speak much, and you get to see part of what we are going to cover in your session. I already have, let me just find it. Here it is, a computer vision. Something important, within the cognitive services, we can create a cognitive service and includes all the APIs, or we can go to a dedicated cognitive service, only computer vision, if you want to distribute workloads. And I'm going to show you a test here, something simple. Check on the quick start. I go to the API console. This is a test we can already go and provide directly to use the different options we have. Only with computer vision, we can analyze image, describe the image, detect objects, detect the optical character. For example, I go to detect, actually go first to describe the image, select my region, provide the subscription key, and then the image, the URL, in this case is for the URL. You can go later, add it in your code or your systems, and then maybe use it locally. I already have this image. Let me show you. Check. It has a lot of text here. Send it, and this is the describing image. So now it's giving me the description, text, table. This is what it's finding within this image. I go for another image. Check. It's a bit old, but I wanted to use this with Satya. I'm going to use now this other URL to describe. Again, I'm using the same API. And now it's giving me more detail. Text, person, man, Satya and Adele speaking on a stage. So it's giving us recognition. For example, OCR, I could go and detect the text. It's going to extract. Or probably this that already has a specific format, we can go better for a form recognizer. Similar, there is also language API. We can go for a whole cognitive service or specifically for the language, where we can get the natural language like Louis, Q&A maker. If you have a question answer format or title and then description, go for Q&A, text analytics, translator. For example, this time I'm going to access to the text analytics. So I select it. Again, I need to have the subscription. I need to get one of the keys. And we have now the current version, the 3.1. All this you will see with more detail within the full session. And integrate also in your systems, not just using this demonstration. For example, the text language. So we sent a document, a text. For example, here, hello all, send the text, and then it's detecting. Did I send it wrong? Let me send the ID and the country hint. I don't send it. Country hint is optional. I'm going to remove it because I want it completely the text. And now it's detecting this is English. As you saw, we can send country hint. Same thing, but now it's Spanish. So now it's detecting. I know this is something simple, but what the main point here is to detect language. We saw it is inclusiveness, one of the principles. So this is one of the things that we should consider. But also check from here, maybe I want to detect the sentiment. I go for this last one. I think I still have the key. Same thing, send the ID, the text. Let's check how it detects the sentiment. And here now we need to send the language. That's why probably I wanted to detect the language. Now that I know it's English, I want to detect the sentiment. And now it's giving me, it's a neutral, positive, neutral, negative sentiment. It's not really something that is giving us a very positive or negative sentiment. I think this is very obvious. Today, I am happy to be with you guys here in this session. And now it's detecting this is highly positive sentiment. Of course, again, here we are just testing, showing some of the options available, but we can integrate them within our systems in order to be able to add these AI solutions within our within our applications, projects. Also, there is the speech API to recognize, to get the speech to text or text to speech. Same part of the cognitive service, but also we can create it independently. Other services we have to search basically is with Bing, and it's giving us the option, similar as we have with Bing, to filter based on the needs we have. We want to filter for the specific solution. We want to filter for our own domain. For example, I want to work with my Microsoft.com. So when they search for something, only gives that solution from Microsoft. Something different, something related won't be there. Or specific images, local businesses. So there are different options that we have available to provide within our applications. And the decision has three different, like we saw before, anomaly detector. So we want to check if something is different as normally we are using. Content moderator. Content moderator helps us to validate if there is some adult or racy content. We want to discard that. Probably we are developing something for some serious customers or something for kids. We want to make sure everything that they are uploading or is included within our solution is going to be accepted, is going to be available within our application. Or personalizer. We want to focus specifically on some sessions, some learning path for the end user, so we can create with the personalizer and integrate our solution. These are some of the cognitive services that we are going to cover later with more detail. If you are interested, hopefully you are, to go for the full session, you have labs, so you get to practice with these solutions. And finally, other of the workloads we saw that we have available is Azure Bot Service, the interactivity with the end user. We saw that of the workloads is conversational AI, where we can integrate now all the cognitive services, the machine learning that we have created. So as you can see, we have a Microsoft Bot framework that is used to create that connection. On top of that, or actually underneath that, we create or integrate our services. In this case, the example is with Q&A Maker. Remember I mentioned Q&A Maker is for natural language, for language in general, for question, answer, or title, description. So it's helping us to have a knowledge base. But here also could be your LUIS, the natural language, could be your computer vision, your content moderator, Bing, so everything, all the cognitive services, all the AI you created, or even your machine learning. So also could be here your machine learning to provide that answer. How it works in this case with Q&A Maker, well, is getting all this data from different sources. Here are the different type of sources we can use. Once the user access from a channel, we always access to the bot from a channel, then we connect to the service to provide the answer and give that solution. If we were using, for example, LUIS, language understanding, maybe we want to detect the sentiment and then it connects to our LUIS application to provide that answer. If we connect other cognitive service, well, internally connects to that other cognitive service, example, computer vision, to detect the face recognition. And all this is the output we provide. So also you are going to build, in your case also with Q&A, build your bot to give that option, and you can even extend, if desired, with more options, not necessarily the templates that are provided directly here. So in general, this is everything that is covered within the fundamentals to create and integrate AI in our applications, okay? And with this, we finish our session. Thank you very much.